All right. We are live. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are, wherever you happen to be. Welcome to another edition of the Living World of Darkness Rage across New York venue. We find ourselves again opening with another very, very prestigious meeting and session of the Log Cabin Book Club. Today, well, Olaf's cabin has been transformed, actually. Besides the very, very shanky little dinner table that he usually has, the entire place has been replaced with several different tables that has been set for three and, a few extra visitors. It has been placed quite austerely, quite pristinely, with candles having been lit in every single place, so that every single Philodox here, because there will be Philodoxes here, has their face lit up quite dramatically, so that when they go ahead and lean across their table, that their beard or their face is lit up magnificently as to go ahead and bring the point home. And in front of all these Philodoxes and the few other visitors, there is a hero sandwich that has been painstakingly made by hand by a son of Unicorn, because the daughter of Unicorn has been prohibited to do so. But it is there. It is very, very much willing to go ahead and placate anybody's appetites. And there will begin our scene with the Philodoxes gathered, and a very, very light audience of two ragabashes in a beard waiting in attendance if the Philodoxes need anything, and I mean anything, while they're currently deliberating over what has just transpired. And what has just transpired is quite an interesting case. But here I'll go ahead and open the scene. Begin.
You know, I just intended it to be us three, and he points at Olaf, Mikhail, and Ren, or you three and me, but and he looks at the sandwich. Kind of glad the other two showed up.
Olaf, from where he sits, rather awkwardly, considering this is what has become of his home, smokes his cigarette and stares at the sandwich. The ingredients.
The ingredients: lamb, lettuce, cheese, mayonnaise, mustard, a little bit of dill relish, a little bit of onion,
These things
both
come
red and white.
These things come from clean sources.
They come from a farm and a slaughterhouse that I truly trust.
And they were cleansed anyway?
Absolutely, before coming on set.
Yep.
Good.
At least someone has sense.
Alright. That's the end of my concerns with the sandwich.
You got a knife?
Yeah,
And
sure.
go for a knife.
Alrighty, he'll take the knife that Lucas produces, and he'll cut a section off of the sandwich and put it in front of him.
Cut off the crust.
So, I called you guys here because today was just the first round. You guys got the final showdown coming.
It should have been a final round.
Protocol's protocol.
Yes, I know. Doesn't mean I have to like it.
Indeed.
So, start with the first case. Xavier. Seems pretty cut and dry.
Yep.
The fool
there-
was stupid enough to admit to it.
Now, go ahead.
Ren is looking quite tired. She served herself a big fat sandwich and then, like, just kind of absently, without really thinking of it, she keeps, like, pushing it, like, further and further away from herself. And she's hunched over She's been cleaning bathrooms all day, like literally scrubbing restrooms, and smells quite strongly of tea tree oil.
Oh God.
And she, like, her shoulders are hunched, and she, like, is just about making out with her candle.
Garrett will kind of push on her shoulder a little bit. Hey, you with us?
You
I'm
know hair's
listening, of
flammable,
course.
right?
She sits up and pulls her hair back. Starts kind of patting her pockets for a hair tie.
Produces one.
Thank you.
Noddle noddle.
So yeah, he admitted to it, yeah. But he's trying to weasel his way out of knowing that it was a bane he was releasing.
And
As I called him earlier, he is a coward.
What have you called us here for, Garrett?
To strategize. You're gonna have to go up to Morningkill and justify this.
Ren stares at him.
P&E, I guess. Two.
Yeah, I have another one. Wait, are you peonying me or am I peonying you?
I'm P&Eing you. You want to P&E me or what?
My God, these rolls are hilarious. Yes, I'm peonying you.
I'll do you. You do me, and we won't
Okay.
do each other.
Okay, well, I got two successes and rolled first, so what do you got?
Okay. Ren is incredulous. She is incredulous and confused. She's not quite sure at all what he thinks is going to happen tonight.
Okay, Garrett, he looks resolute.
Ren just kind of laughs and looks away.
Listen, this is a grave crime. And you're going up against the highest ranking Philodox in the Sept. And I just want to make sure all you guys are on the same page and have clear minds of when you present.
I see.
And Xavier is guilty.
Sorry, out of character. What he said? Xavier's what?
Guilty.
What is it you think that he's guilty of? What crimes do you charge him with, Ragabash?
Well, number one is the one tenet of the litany that everybody agrees on, and that is violating a cairn, bringing a bane into the cairn. And he's trying to weasel his way out of that one by saying he didn't know about it.
Xavier's already been punished once before for violating a cairn unknowingly. He doesn't think he'll get out of that.
Can I ask this? You two are his pack mates. Has he ever shown the ability to sense the worm?
Ren cocks her head and tries to remember.
I think I seen him do it.
Because if he's throwing around a hex or whatever he did to make Victoria sick, and he knows how to sense the worm, I'm willing to bet he knew about the bane. I just don't want him to escape the full punishment that he deserves.
Oh?
Yeah.
Thank you, Shadow Lord. I will take that under advisement.
And what are you seeking, Ren?
Ren glances at Olaf. And she shrugs.
Is there a problem, Ren?
No, I'm tired is all. I mean, I believe there's a number of problems, of course. It's not been an easy night.
No. I'm gonna get this out there. I felt bad for Xavier. I know what a member of my tribe did to him. I considered that I felt I had a debt to repay to him, and I was trying to find a way to repay that debt. But that all went all out the window when he tried to justify what he did using Andre's actions.
A guru who is no longer here.
I see. It's the same defense that Mikhail offered.
Oh?
What defense did I offer?
A Shadow Lord has betrayed the Shadow Lords. Go get him.
Andre's actions left a ripple, and that ripple had an effect on Xavier. I don't deny that. But Xavier had a chance to stop it, and instead he jumped in that pond and created a tidal wave.
A chance to stop what exactly?
Andre was a coward who left Xavier to die in the abyss, if not for Katori's actions. Xavier now hates Shadow Lords. And he has friends around him, support, a pack. But he was so blinded by hate that he allowed this cairn to be violated, and it ended up with 2 dead kin in its wake.
So the crime you are accusing him of is losing control of his own spell?
Garrett looks at you incredulous.
Can I say something?
Ren raises a hand. In a moment. I would like to hear your opinion. But if I've guessed wrong, Garrett, correct me.
Xavier unleashed a Bane spirit upon a fellow Garou. A Garou that I have an open distaste for, yes. But still a Garou. With a Bane in the middle of the sept. It's pretty cut and dry.
I don't know enough about hexes for it to be cut or dry, as far as I'm concerned.
Ehrenreich's absence was noticeable. His own tribal elder.
Not necessarily inexplicable, though. May, what did
No.
you want to say?
Well, pretty much the same as what he said. Regardless of what he was trying to do, he still brought a Bane onto the Sept and used it to attack another Garou. It's kind of flat out that's what happened, regardless of his intentions. And I know that if I had done something like that, regardless of even being a child, not knowing better, legitimately not knowing better, because I haven't had the time that he's had and seen the things he's seen, I'm pretty sure that if I used a Bane to attack another Garou, that would be it. That'd be the end of my story. It doesn't matter why I did it. It doesn't matter if I understood what a bane was or the effect it could have on the cairn. It just matters that I brought a bane into the sept, where it risked the cairn and I infected another Garu, and the fact that it spread to other people, that just makes it worse.
I pose the same question to you, Ren. What do you think he's guilty of, if anything?
Ren's shoulders hunch a little bit further because this is not where she particularly excels.
Rin will notice the presence of Lucas behind her, and if she lets it, two hands trying to alleviate some of that tension.
She flinches before she realizes that it's Lucas touching her. And then she straightens up a little bit and reaches up to pat his hand gently. I will say, in the presence of you five and none others, that I cannot bear to hear Xavier called a coward. When you say that, you are impugning a very brave Garu. His spell got away from him, but he intended it to hurt no kin. And all of you have spoken to me. All of you. Each of you in turn, except maybe you, Mabe.
Blink.
Of how you feel Victoria is herself a bane on the sept.
And yet the law is the law.
And yet the law is the law.
Hewer or coward, cub or athro. The law is the law.
We
He
have
violated a king.
we
A
have
little bit.
oh, go ahead.
She just said a little bit.
We have laws in place for Guru to settle grievances. Whether you do it in combat, whether you do it with riddles, they're established for that purpose and that purpose alone. But he didn't choose that path. He chose.
Neither did you.
Did I? What did I do?
She gives Mikhail kind of a crooked smile and kind of a funny look. And then she looks away and just shakes her head.
No. You don't say I did something and now tell me.
I haven't said that you've done anything. I've said you did not go after her through the legal channels.
Go after who? Victoria?
Mm-hmm. I don't fault you, neither have I. But keep in mind that that was a choice that each of us have made. I understand the consequences for Xavier will not be anything I would like to happen to any packmate of mine, but I won't hear him called a coward.
Maybe we'll kind of perk up again and wait for a chance to speak.
Go for it.
Well, if you think about it, and I mean, I was just watching, and I don't know everything, but with what happened, it seems not that he's being cowardly, at least at this point, but that his goal is to take her down with him. That's really all he seems to want, and if he has to accept a heavier punishment, and she gets the same one, I don't think he cares. It seemed like all that mattered to him that entire time was that Victoria take her share of the blame.
Yes,
And
something like that.
maybe I'm wrong, but No one's been able to pursue Victoria through the law because she hasn't given them the opportunity until now. So in a way, it almost seems like he's making a sacrifice just to get this done.
If Ren can make eye contact with Mikhail right now, she will.
Yeah, he's not hiding his face.
And she gives him just a little tiny smile.
We could talk about this all night and it wouldn't be any different.
Garrett slams his hands on the table. His spell got away from him? That's the defense you're using?
No, that's the charge I'm leveling against him.
You do realize what I'm going to seek, yes?
What charges will you level against him, Olaf?
Violating a cairn alone usually gets you death where I come from.
By Gaia.
We are beset on all sides by enemies with so many faces and means I've lost count, and he sets a bane loose in our very home.
A tiny one. I could barely sense the worm on it. We're beset on all sides and you want to tear out your own belly.
We're here to enforce the law. And he violated the most sacred one.
All for a stupid ass message. And he puts air quotes up when he says message.
Do you think it's stupid now, Garrett?
Yes.
I have to agree.
You too.
You know what my message is? My message is tribal hate gets people killed. But that's not the message he wanted to send.
Can anybody here say from Xavier's own mouth what that message was as clearly and concisely as possible? It does not matter what verdict you guys go ahead and put upon. He wants the message to be said, but what is it?
I can't even remember it, honestly. I know he said it. OOC, I should say.
His message was that Victoria claimed that she was making up for the misdeeds of Shadow Lords in the past. And instead, she's only made it worse.
Yeah, she did go seek him out and talk to him.
Do you think that's really Victoria's crime in Xavier's eyes?
If she did something worse, wouldn't he have taken her to a Philodox or taken it to a Philodox?
She is the Philodox.
They're as higher than her.
There's Morningkill.
There's also just other Philodoxes to make a case with. If she'd truly done something besides just, pardon, because I know I shouldn't say this, besides essentially being a bitch, which you really can't bring some up on charges for. If she'd done something worse, wouldn't he have brought it to someone?
Well, not far from this camp, there's Mei Ling Raya. Every now and again in this sept, you'll see my cousin contemplates the Mercy Raya. For 2 examples. What? I know what their Philodox is.
Blink.
None of you went to any Philodoxes either. There's no...
For what?
There are laws... Go ahead.
No, what would I have gone to a Philodox for?
Yes, because I'm really confused about all of this.
You all expressed doubts to me about Victoria's decisions, her ability to behave as a half-moon. Tell me, you think she's a valuable member of our sept. Tell me you agree with her choices.
Absolutely not.
You're trying to set a dangerous precedent.
I'm not. I try to set no precedents.
My verdict for her still stands.
As does mine, though it differs.
You'll have before you 2 crimes, 2 verdicts, 1 message. Or am I getting that wrong?
There are a few crimes, in my opinion, and not all crimes fall under the purview of the litany.
But the litany is what we've got.
No. You can punish a Garou for being a fucking jackass.
Grins.
Especially if he endangers the sept. There are rights for that. I've said it before and I'll say it again. If everyone feels the need to trot out the litany for every offense against good sense, it becomes a watered-down document. It's perfectly reasonable to say, Xavier, I hereby sentence you for being a giant jackass. I don't necessarily think that's the case, but it's an entirely possible crime to commit.
Okay. Let's say your opinion wins the day. Xavier finds himself quite alive. Maybe a punishment, right? Maybe I just cut one of his fucking eyes out. I don't know. Walks amongst us, having survived setting a bane in the sept to prove a personal point. Do you want to go to the families of those dead kin and say, oh, I needed to show him mercy?
And what of the next Guru who decides to do this? Who says, the one before me did it, I can do it too. And why stop with a bane? Why not use a black spiral?
I haven't yet argued for mercy.
Then what are you arguing for?
I'm still trying to understand exactly what charges you think you're leveling. I agree with you. Xavier agrees with you, he is guilty.
Well,
Victoria
Sorry.
doesn't agree, apparently. She feels that she was innocent. Which is curious to me.
Didn't she agree to be punished? And say that she felt responsible?
She did.
She was earnest. I could tell it from the back of the crowd.
In fact, when I called for her death, she thanked me.
So let's start at the very base offense. He poisoned Victoria. It's a little bit more than being a jackass.
Indeed it is.
And then let's go with the second step. It was a bane. Let's go with the third step. He didn't know what the fuck he was doing. It got out of control. Spread to kin. There are 2 kin dead.
Well,
Stop. You
Consider-
can't lay that upon Xavier's actions directly.
no, particularly when the spread was knowingly done by Victoria.
Another correction, we don't know that. There's no evidence to support that. At least not enough.
Actually, we do. We
Oh,
have
okay, never mind. Goes in and throws his hands up. My bad. It's like, I forgot about that little tidbit.
You get like this look from Olaf, like, really, man?
He goes in and throws his hands up. My bad.
Do we know if the spirit was actually talking about the North Wind or someone that it calls that?
no. We don't know who it was or what.
I'm no theurge.
I will lay the death of the kin at his feet.
As will I.
I'm gonna say this. Without the testimony of the spirit, it's very, very hard to go ahead and prove intention on Victoria's part.
Here's what I do know. Usually it's pretty hard for us Garu to notice we're sick. If we do notice it, then chances are it's pretty bad. And she waited a little too long for my comfort to go see Chase's.
Why do you discount the words of the spirit, Garrett?
Where am I discounting the words of the spirit?
I'm sorry. You said, here's what I do know. I interrupted you. Please continue.
I'm agreeing with the spirit here. Unless we're talking about two completely different spirits. OOC, I got confused.
No.
We have the spirit's testimony that said it was spread knowingly. Victoria already admitted that she had spread it by walking around.
Though by her testimony, it was innocent. Her walking around. She asked to be punished for a mistake, not for the intentional poisoning of several kin.
And that's what we have the spirit for.
She nods.
I spoke to Chase's, the storm, afterwards. He said they cease being contagious as soon as they take the cure.
Thank Gaia.
But we need more of it.
Did he give you a task list?
He told me an ingredient, and I already informed the Guardians.
We will have to seek out the Deep Umbra.
Highly dangerous.
I'm curious if Victoria knew about that cure, knew that she would cease being contagious as soon as she took it.
Me
Can we
too.
please focus on things that we can prove at the table?
I know, I gotta get everything out of there. Want to make sure everybody's convictions are in line.
If you want, I can spend tomorrow with the Ravens and see if I can find out who the North Wind is, or if it's truly the North Wind.
Mabe, how many secrets you got to trade?
Yes, I was getting ready to ask.
She kind of looks at him and
Ren
narrows
just
her
starts
eyes
laughing.
very briefly. Enough.
I hope so.
Indeed.
Trucking with spirits is kind of my thing, and I've been feeding the Ravens with Travis. I'll spend more time with them tomorrow. The longer you talk, the less you have to exchange favors.
I want you to be very, very careful. Trifling with things, Mabe. I'm just gonna cut to the chase and tell you now. I understand that Katori Raya is your teacher in these matters. I'm gonna go out on a limb and tell you he needs his space right now.
I know, but unlike some people, I'm very, very careful. None of my interaction with the spirits has ever come out badly for me or for anyone else. I'm not stupid.
You still need a bigger theurge than you present, just in case.
To talk to a raven?
To go trucking about.
Where do you think I'm gonna go?
It's spirits. Anything could go wrong. Their thoughts are not our thoughts. Their food is not our food.
I know. But at least on some level, I know what I'm doing. Katori has only ever been proud of me in the results of my talking to spirits. I'm not about to disappoint him now.
So, Maeve, what you propose to do, or you're trying to do anyways, is discern the sincerity of the spirit's words and the trustworthiness of that raven spirit and this thing known as North Wind.
She nods.
And what will that prove?
Well, it said that it was told this thing and told to carry the message. So, what if someone here told it to carry that message just to implicate Victoria? Because besides that message, there is no proof that she did it on purpose.
There you go.
Fortunately, that is something the truth catcher can figure out. That's why he earns the title.
Can he catch the truth off of a spirit?
You can catch the truth
say
off
that
of pretty
again?
much anything.
So, he can catch the truth that that is the message it was told. But do you really think it's going to tell him who this person is?
He can ask Victoria Raya herself.
How would Victoria know who spoke to the spirit?
No, Maeve. You can straight up ask Victoria if she's
Oh.
or not.
Her
Oh.
symptoms are literally going to cease, what, tomorrow?
And she'll be dangerous.
Indeed.
The truth catcher is not undangerous.
So, the truth catcher is going to try to discern the intentions of Victoria Raya while she was sick.
Indeed. Perhaps, I assume, if I were truth catcher, that would be the first thing I would feel needed to come to light.
And that's really the easier way to do it.
And we all here agree that the truth catcher is a reliable source of true information?
His reputation precedes him, and he's never been anything less than a complete professional in all of the times I've interacted with him.
Okay. Then what I suggest is, as much as the spirits are a fantastic and useful tool, however, and I have no rank here, this is only my suggestion. You go ahead and tell me to shut the fuck up at any point in time, but let the truth catcher discern Victoria's true intentions, and let that be that.
And just shrugs and nods.
Is this all amenable?
Yeah.
And I'm not going to discount trying to find out or discern where this north wind comes from. I think he's a very, very powerful spirit to send one raven. And I'm definitely very interested in why he would go ahead and intrude on these affairs. But as for the discernment about Victoria's intentions, I think the truth catcher is the better bet.
Naturally.
Of course.
Nah,
And I'm trying to provide the questions that you guys should probably present and have him ask.
Honestly, Garrett, I wouldn't presume, unless he asked me, to tell him what questions to ask.
Nor would I. If you all
He might.
remember, this is supposed to be a sentencing.
Then what the hell are y'all supposed to be there for?
I'll remind you that there was no crime said specifically at the trial. the verdict was laid down as guilty, but I believe we each would disagree vehemently on what exactly both of them are guilty of.
I named off all three verdicts, or all three accusations.
Sorry, out of character, can you say that again?
He says, I named off all three accusations that they were brought forth for.
Bring
Will you
them
name
down
them
again.
for me?
Lucas shuts up.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Will you name them for me?
I sure will.
I heard you say them for Xavier, but not for I'm sorry. Other way around. I heard you say them for... Yep, no Xavier, but not for Victoria.
For both Xavier and Victoria, respect those beneath thee, all are of Gaia. For both Victoria and Xavier, ye shall take no action that causes a cairn to be violated. And for Victoria alone, do not suffer thy people to tend thy sickness.
That one I have to disagree on. She'll literally be cured tomorrow. I can't shoot everybody in the head for a broken leg.
No, that one's a tough sell, Mikhail.
Is it?
It is.
We have to go to the Dia of Umbra to get the cure. Is that easy?
For our kinfolk.
That's for our kinfolk,
Yes.
which falls under the purview of violating a cairn.
And you can't particularly say that the kinfolk were disrespected if the infection was accidental.
Either way, it was an act of pure mutiny.
It was certainly an act of pure mutiny.
And if you've forgotten, we're a military organization.
Well, it wouldn't be the first act of pure mutiny in Garu history.
And it won't be the last to get put down.
Is there any sense of a righteous mutiny? He goes ahead and asks.
I'm interested in that question as well.
What was the question?
The question was, is there anything like a righteous mutiny?
Of course. If your sept leader, your alphas, are weak, or they endangered the entire sept, it is your responsibility to rise up and remove them.
Can we apply
Once
that?
again, the challenge system.
Sometimes, if they are above your rank to challenge, you have to do what you have to do. I'm not saying all the time, or, if a sept alpha makes you mad and hurts your feelings, you suck it up and walk it off. But if they're taking actions that would cause this sept endangerment, they are willfully allowing just worm forces to just run wild and they do nothing, then yes, they need to be replaced.
Mikhail, what about weakening the Sep's warriors? Would that also fall under that?
It would, Lucas, but unfortunately she was doing it wielding the litany as a weapon.
Interesting.
When I feel the litany should be a shield.
All I'm doing is trying to compare the message with what you would accept as a righteous mutiny.
If we found out today that Morning Kill was a Black Spiral, that he was working with the local hive, he was planning on a defense, or excuse me, an offense, to take over this sept, is there anyone in this room right now of proper rank who could challenge him? No? I didn't think so. But if you had this knowledge, you had no way to prove it, but you knew it was true, and you knew you could remove him, get him out of power, and get someone in place who could defend us and wage an attack, you don't consider that your rightful duty?
Ren glances at Olaf. I'm going to peony this because this is the question.
which part are you trying to? What are you trying to discern? Because that was actually a pretty good roll.
His reaction to what Mikhail just said.
Okay, I had a bit of a brain fart, so Eric, please give me the quick notes version.
Basically, if you found out tomorrow or tonight that Morning Kill was actually a black spiral, and he was working with the various hives to invoke an offense against the Sept, and knowing that you are not the proper rank to challenge him, that the only way you could do it is by removing him from power to bring someone else who would take action against the hives in power. Like, you had no legal stance to do so.
Okay. Well, the first thing you're gonna get is just this wave of absolute discomfort at this idea. This is like fainting couch material for the Gauru world. The second thing that you will probably get is that he's a Get of Fenris, and one of their knee-jerk reactions to anything worm-related is blood murder.
Here's the thing. I'm sorry.
For third, yeah, he's totally in favor. I'm sorry, the rest is just kind of like, I want to blood murder things of the worm, and also the idea that that would turn out to be a scenario is very uncomforting.
There's a problem with your scenario there, Mikhail. If you were sitting on proof that he was a spiral, then he is arguably not part of the nation, and he wouldn't fall under the challenge system anyway. He'd just be an enemy of the nation.
That is true, but you have to prove it, and if you cannot, and you need to call him out, that's plenty of opportunity for him to put you under and remove any traces that you may have had. So sometimes a mutiny is in order. I'm not saying all the time. I mean, it is a last-ditch effort.
This is dangerous talk. No more of it.
Huh.
It's dangerous, but it's relevant. Obviously, the situations are not comparable. But you make a good point, Mikhail.
I know.
That was not an Olaf reaction. It's just, I love you, Eric. I really do.
That being said, Mikhail, Olaf, Ren, my dear Ryas, is a righteous mutiny at all in line with Xavier's message?
That was the expression of a personal vendetta.
Indeed. And it should have been solved just between them two.
Would have overseen it myself.
Ren?
Ren shrugs. And she glances for a minute at each of them. Just a long, slow look that passes over each face.
Garrett, once again, he looks incredibly serious and just
Flustered.
angry at the mention of Xavier's name. Like he really hates what Xavier did.
What's Mabe looking like? Should I roll for this? Do you guys want me to roll for this as she looks at everybody?
Absolutely not.
I still don't have subterfuge dice, man. Just do it. Just do it.
Unless you're hiding it.
Yeah,
Just
Maeve's eating a sandwich. God damn it, because she got a little solid. So
Is
yeah,
it the sandwich that fell on the floor?
no.
Oh.
I even posted. She slipped over, took some of the remaining sandwich, slipped back over to hunker down by Olaf, where she seems to be fairly comfortable, and she's completely focused on the sandwich because shit's a little too real.
Ren, if you looked at Lucas, you would realize that for the past 48 hours he's been dealing with bureaucracy. and the death of a kin.
I'll give you this one. I mean, you still have everything that I gave you before. It's uncomfortable. It makes him angry. He's been more get in like the past 12 hours than he's been in a while. But when he's gone on to mention this vendetta again, you get this hint at the kind of sadness that someone feels in the face of dramatic irony concerning someone they care about.
And Mikhail?
It's almost the same as Olaf's. You can feel the rage on him from earlier. Like, it still hasn't gone away. He's clenching his fist. You know, he moves. He just shakes a lot. But you can also sense a sense of sadness to him, a disappointment.
Things related to the personal vendetta and Xavier's own message may be something for the Galliards and not for the Philodoxes.
I imagine the Galliards will have their say as well.
That is true, but the Philodoxes have their own work, do they not?
We do.
Then I suggest that anything related to the emotions of Xavier Wazir, Falstern, Galliard of the Nation remain as a wonderful, fantastic story, and the Philodoxes here, who are all Falstern and Cleith themselves, focus on the realities of what Xavier did and what Victoria has done as well.
He wanted me to be there. He wanted Mikhail to be there. He called us out specifically.
Yes, he wanted the Shadow Lords to fear him.
All a part of his message, which you have both been very much read up on. And again, please slap me down if I speak out of turn, dear Raz.
I expect this of you. You're a Regabash.
You are literally doing your job.
Intern or out of it.
Yes, Xavier Wazir, Foster in the Nation, called you both out to give you this fucking message. And again, that message, everything that connotates with it, is a story for the Galliards. The Philodoxes here are responsible for what he has actually done, not what he intended to convey.
Which was setting a bane of disease loose inside the sept.
Correction. That wasn't his intention.
That was the result.
Correct. But it wasn't his intention.
And it wasn't my intention to frenzy, yet I spent a month scrubbing toilets, cleaning floors, grinding herbs, hunting deer, doing
This is
pretty
death.
much everything.
You're speaking of execution.
I didn't kill anybody.
Neither did Xavier.
No, but he caused it.
Garrett slams the table and he storms out the cabin.
Oh, for the love of fuck.
Pops up.
You stay here. Actually, you go. Once this is over and you're done cleaning my cabin up, you go back to your cabin. Lucas, same for you. I will go tend to this, and then I have someone else I have to check up on. This entire thing is a moot point as far as I'm concerned. And he walks out to go after his broski.
Oh.
Oh, there's some
what if-
scowls following him.
I don't care if there's scowls, I want to hear this aside.
If she could stare daggers. But yes, let's do this aside.
I hate you, Werewolf Dad.
You think it's funny now?
Go to my room. Listen to Simple Plan. Fuck you.
When Olaf gets outside, Garrett's already a fair distance away from the cabin, shaking, trying to light a cigarette, fending it off the wind.
Christ, stay still. And, Olaf, being friggin' like twice Garrett's size, is a perfect windshield.
Give him a-
And even lights a cigarette for him.
give him a hug.
He'll accept it, and his hands are visibly shaking, and he takes a drag of the cigarette. Fucking bullshit.
Welcome to what it's like to discern tough cases. It is literally my job in life to sift through all of that, get to the truth, and produce a sentence.
The blood of those kin is on his hands.
I know. Believe me, I do. I spent a whole lot of time last night, nights before, on the other end of a phone listening to a lot of dark shit.
I can't allow him to not feel the sting of the pain of having the blood of kin on your hands feels like.
You're Ragabash. That kind of thing is under your purview, and perhaps also Galliard's. Me, I enforce the law. Whether the guilty party believes they're guilty, well, law's the law. You better hope I don't botch this. At least I just failed it. At least I just failed it.
Seems legit.
Seems legit.
Nice tonight.
I know.
He's pacing back and forth, listening to you, but still in his own thoughts. A dumbass Shadowlord appears, does some stupid shit. Guy hates Shadowlords. I'm following so far. Some other Shadowlord comes in, says she's going to pay off the debts. She's slow doing it, and in the meantime does some kind of fucked up shit. Xavier Wazir does something disgraceful. Even more disgraceful than any one of Andre's actions that I've heard about. That results in dead kin. And we're talking, oh, I didn't mean it.
I understand that you're angry, but this has to be done a certain way.
And that's why I called y'all. So y'all could all get on the same page. Discuss it. I did not expect people.
You're not a Philodox. We argue about this kind of thing until the sun comes up. And for the record, as far as I'm concerned, your tribe's damn well redeemed in my eyes.
Oh.
He looks up at you, and he still has very angry, resolute expression. Not yet for me. There is now a debt to be paid to the Silver Fangs and the children of Gaia. And I will leave you Philodoxus to Philodox while I go think of what I can do.
I'm gonna tell you what I tell anybody. Let the law work its course, obey the litany, and don't do anything fucking crazy.
I'm not Xavier Wazir. And he actually spits on the ground. He's a cautionary tale now as far as I'm concerned.
Just remember you're not the only one that's hurting.
I know. And
pack.
he settles down before you can speak. He says, I know, he was your pack mate. I don't know what that's like. I'm sure it's a big deal. For you and Ren. I get it. I'm sorry. But what he did in my eyes is unforgivable. You've heard me go on about the ripple effect before.
I know. Listen, I got somebody I gotta check on. Get some sleep.
Is there anything I can help with?
This is no, this is more of a me thing.
Fine, yeah, whatever. He's not even offered. It was rejected. He doesn't care. He's leaving.
And Olaf kind of watches him leave. Then actually trudges back to the cabin, pokes his head in, looks at Lucas. Gonna go check up on somebody. Don't steal my shit. And pokes his head back out and leaves.
Okay. Looks to two other Philodoxes. So you guys can continue if you want. I was just interested in what y'all can prove right now with the evidence you got. No lawyer, no prosecutor, no judge.
We are the lawyers and the judges.
Okay. What can you prove, Mikhail?
By their own confessions and by the confession of the Spirit. Xavier unleashed something he shouldn't have. Victoria unleashed something she shouldn't have. People were hurt.
Ren nods for agreement.
Then if you accept the testimony of Xavier Wazir, and if you accept the testimony of the Spirit, with some discernment to become from the Truthcaster himself, I think you can tell who's guilty of who, and afterwards it's all about dealing out the punishment.
And deciding who's guilty exactly of what.
Exactly. That's what I meant to say. Smiling, stupid fucking smile, breaking apart.
Maeve is probably about half an oomph from slamming the things that she's cleaning. She's pretty livid. But once she's gotten things, for the most part, put away, she'll leave the dishes for Lucas so she won't, like, smash them. She's sorely tempted. And she will probably bob her head to either of the Philodoxes and try to take her leave back to her own cabin.
Good night, Maeve. You're a credit to your auspice.
Thank you. And she's gonna whisk out unless she's interrupted.
Whisk.
Just gone.
Whisk.
Ren is leaning with her elbows on the table, both forearms laying on the table and her hands clasped. And she waits for the air to clear after Maeve leaves.
She stinks.
Dishes are being washed.
Lucas, you are also a credit to your auspice.
Indeed, he is.
This work seems pretty hard, doesn't it?
This is why we drink.
I apologize. I apologize if this is easier for some of you and harder for others.
I don't think it was easy for any of us.
No. Nor will it be easy going forward for any of us. All of us have skin in this game.
What are your concerns? You know, wipe, 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 going forward.
I was like, what is he doing with his mouth? I figured it out. Ren just kind of shakes her head and doesn't answer that one. But she does glance at Mikhail.
My biggest concern is the fact that I am a half-moon. My job is to mediate and judge any transaction against the litany, any disagreement between others. And knowing what I have to do, usually I'm not worried about burning bridges. I'm not worried about how people look at me. But I don't want people to not trust me to do my job. You've already had to do with one Shadow Lord Philodox who was reckless in her judgments. I don't want others thinking the same of me.
You realize we were called here for a little bit of jury tampering.
He's a Regabash. I expect that. If he didn't do his job, I'd be kind of worried.
You are also a credit to your auspice, Mikhail.
I do try.
Ren pulls herself to her feet and kind of dusts herself off. Was there anything else you wanted me to hear before I take my suggestions to Morning Kill?
No, I believe we are all on the page that we need to be.
Indeed.
Maybe check with Olaf and Garrett before you go.
If they'll talk to me, I will.
You do realize this is Olaf's territory, right?
Yes.
I'm not shooing you away, I'm just saying it's awfully late in the night.
Yes. She looks around to see if there's anything she should do to help clean up before she goes.
Oh, if you try to pick up anything, Lucas will go ahead and fight you for it.
Really?
Absolutely.
Is there anything that needs picking up? Because that's going to be an interesting... Like, when you say fight you for it, that's something you should describe, because there's a couple different ways of doing that.
Okay, in front of Mikhail and Olaf's seat, there is, well, one has a bit of a napkin to it, and the other one has a bit of a dish to it that has not been picked up by Lucas quite yet.
So assume Ren goes to pick those up?
Mm-hmm.
Put that shit down.
She can totally do that.
Okay, she does, and she'll just tidy them up, take them to the sink, throw the napkin away. If there's anything else obvious that needs cleaning, she'll tidy it before she goes. It's a sign of respect for Olaf's space, not possessive. And she nods to both of them before she slips into the night.
Uh-huh. As the door closes, Lucas goes ahead, looks to Mikhail. Always the last one to leave and hear all the secrets.
Indeed. But tonight I don't think there's any secrets for me to hear.
Bart, would you like to? Do you wish to stay here?
No.
Olaf is out, and greet him when he comes back.
No, I'll let Rhiannon say her piece with those two. But I guess I should be going.
Again, not to rush you out, dear Aya.
It is okay. I have a lot on my mind and I wish to be alone right now.
You have a good evening, then.
You too, Lucas. Dead air.
Do I literally have to open the door and shush the Raya out?
Clearly you do.
Apparently I do. Lucas goes ahead and opens the door.
Oh no, he's already gone. He left.
Oh, I'm sorry, you didn't describe that action, or I just completely and utterly lost it. I apologize.
Yeah, I don't need to describe everything he's doing, not turning the knob and slowly opening the door.
Again, I do apologize. Once the room is sort of cleaned up and all that other good honky shore shit, Lucas is gonna go ahead and close the door of the cabin, hang out at the front porch for a few minutes, going on to 20, until he goes ahead and leaves to the boys' cabin.
20 minutes, you say? Okay. Is there anything else that anyone would like to accomplish during this? Oh, I see what you're saying there, MA. That is probably the best idea. So for now, if you don't mind, I'll do the outro.
Go ahead.
Watchers, thank you for watching. Players, thank you for playing. And we'll see you next time on another edition of Living World of Darkness, Rage Across the Book Club. Good night.
Love you.